Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Today we're diving into something that might not sound super glamorous at first, but I promise it's way more interesting than you think.
Yeah.
We're talking about taking care of dental implants.
Yes. Dental implants.
And if you've got them, they're an investment.
Absolutely.
So we're going to treat this deep dive as your guide
You're right.
to making sure that investment pays off with a healthy, confident smile for years and years to come.
That's a great way to put it.
We'll be referencing the Orastock guide to maintaining your dental implant restorations to help us along the way.
Really insightful guide.
So if
And
you're ready,
let's jump in.
let's get into it.
What's fascinating is that caring for implants is surprisingly similar to caring for your natural teeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It all comes back to those good oral hygiene habits we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Brushing, flossing, the drill.
Right.
But there are a few key twists.
Okay.
And, the guide starts off with a really thought-provoking question.
Oh.
It asks, if teeth are supposed to last a lifetime, how can we make sure our implants do too?
It does feel like a challenge. Okay, so where do we even begin?
Well, the guide jumps right into daily cleaning.
Okay.
And the good news is, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Treat your implants just like your natural teeth. Brushing twice a day, flossing, the things you already know.
Gotcha.
But here's where things get a little interesting. They also highly recommend using interdental brushes and a water flosser.
Okay, interdental brushes I kind of get, but a water flosser? Tell me more, because I have to admit, I've always been a bit skeptical.
Think of it this way. You've got this tiny gap between the implant and your gums where food and bacteria can hide. And regular brushing might not always reach those spots perfectly.
I see.
But with an interdental brush, you can really get in there and clean things out.
Okay, that makes sense. So where does the water flosser come in?
So a water flosser takes things up a notch. It uses a pressurized stream of water to flush out any remaining debris. And get this, the guide recommends filling it with mouthwash.
Really?
It's like giving your gums a spa treatment while you clean.
Okay, that does sound kind of amazing, and I bet it feels way more refreshing than regular flossing.
Yeah,
But isn't it a hassle to use?
not at all. In fact, the guide suggests using a wireless water-resistant one in the shower so you can multitask and make it part of your routine without any extra effort.
That's a game changer.
Mm.
Okay, now onto the topic of food. I'm guessing there are some things we should avoid, right?
You bet. Just like with natural teeth, super hard foods like nuts and ice are a no-go.
Yep.
You don't want to risk chipping the restoration or putting unnecessary stress on the implant itself.
That makes sense. What about sugar? I know it's bad for natural teeth, but what about implants?
Sugar is a double whammy when it comes to implants.
Hmm.
Not only can it contribute to gum disease, which can affect the stability of the implant, but it can also interfere with the health of the bone surrounding the implant. And remember, that bone is what's actually holding the implant in place.
Right.
So sugar really is the enemy, even with implants.
It sounds like a healthy diet is even more important than I thought.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. You've made this investment in your smile with these implants.
Mm-hmm.
Eating a balanced diet is like making sure that investment continues to pay dividends
Okay.
in the form of a healthy, strong foundation for your implants.
Got it. Healthy diet it is.
Ah.
Now, what about seeing the dentist? I'm guessing regular checkups are still crucial, even with implants, right?
Definitely. The guide recommends checkups every 3 to 6 months and yearly x-rays,
Wow, really?
even if you're not experiencing any problems.
So it's like preventative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those visits are about more than just cleaning.
Huh?
They're also about monitoring the implant's stability, checking for any signs of wear and tear, and making any necessary adjustments.
So it's kind of like taking your car in for regular maintenance. You might not see any obvious issues, but those checkups can prevent major breakdowns in the future.
Exactly. Catching those potential issues early can save you a lot of trouble down the line.
That makes sense. All right, I'm starting to see that taking care of implants is all about being proactive and consistent. But what about our lifestyle choices? Do things like smoking or drinking affect implant health?
That's a great question, and yes, they absolutely can. Smoking is a big one.
Okay, let's start with smoking. I'm guessing it's not exactly implant friendly.
You guessed right. Smoking is a major red flag when it comes to implants.
Okay.
It constricts blood vessels, which means less oxygen and nutrients are reaching the tissues around the implant.
Right.
And this is especially critical during the healing process after the implant is placed.
So it's not just about staining your teeth, it's about actually compromising the foundation of the implant.
Exactly. And the risks are really significant. Studies have shown that smokers are much more likely to experience implant failure compared to non-smokers.
Yeah, okay. So smoking is a definite no-no. What about alcohol? I know a lot of people are curious about whether they can still enjoy a glass of wine or a beer with dinner.
Well, the occasional drink with a meal is unlikely to cause any major problems. But excessive alcohol consumption is a different story.
Oh,
Just like smoking, heavy drinking can impair blood flow and hinder healing.
gotcha.
It can also dehydrate your mouth, creating a breeding ground for bacteria that can lead to gum disease.
So moderation is key.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Now, this might seem a bit out there, but what about stress? Can things like clenching or grinding your teeth affect implants?
You'd be surprised how much those habits can impact your oral health.
Really?
And yes, even implants.
Oh,
Imagine the force of clenching or grinding being concentrated on that implant.
right.
It can put a lot of pressure on the restoration and even potentially loosen the implant itself over time.
I never would have thought of that. I guess I always assumed implants were strong enough to withstand pretty much anything.
They're definitely durable, but they're not invincible.
Right.
And that's why the guide emphasizes the importance of managing stress and addressing those habits.
So what can you do if you're a clencher or grinder?
Well, awareness is the first step. Being mindful of when you're clenching or grinding and trying to relax your jaw muscles can help.
Right.
But often more direct intervention is needed, like a night guard.
Yeah, I remember wearing those when I had braces.
Hmm.
They're not the most comfortable things, but I guess they get the job done.
Exactly. They act as a barrier, protecting your teeth and implants from the forces of clenching and grinding, especially at night when you're not even aware you're doing it.
So night guards are like little superheroes for our implants.
You could say that. And here's where it gets really interesting. The guide mentions that in some cases, Botox can actually be used to help with clenching and grinding.
Botox, like the stuff
Mhm.
people use for wrinkles in their jaw muscles.
Yes. It might sound surprising, but injecting small amounts of Botox into the jaw muscles can help relax them and reduce those involuntary movements.
Yeah.
It's a newer approach, but it can be quite effective for some people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It seems like there are so many innovative solutions in dentistry these days. It's definitely not your grandma's dentures anymore.
Right. It's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to stay informed and have open communication with your dentist.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Daily care, diet, professional visits, lifestyle habits.
Right.
It's clear that being proactive is essential.
Yeah.
But what happens if something does go wrong? How do we know if there's a problem with our implant?
That's a crucial question, and the guide doesn't shy away from it.
Okay.
It actually dedicates a whole section to empowering patients to become implant detectives, if you will.
Implant detectives, I love that. So what are the clues we should be looking for?
The guide highlights several red flags.
Okay,
First, pay attention to your gums.
gotcha.
If you notice any redness, swelling, or tenderness around the implant, that's a sign something might be off.
Okay, red and swollen gums, got it. What else?
Another thing to watch out for is any mobility in the bridge or crown attached to the implant. If it feels loose or wiggly, that's definitely a cause for concern.
So basically, if it moves and it shouldn't, that's bad news.
Exactly. And finally, pay attention to any unusual pain or discomfort.
Okay.
It could be a sharp pain when biting down, a dull ache, or even sensitivity to hot or cold temperatures.
So if we notice any of these red flags, it's straight to the dentist,
Do
right?
you? Absolutely. Early intervention is key when it comes to dental implants.
Okay,
Don't wait for a problem to become serious before seeking help.
makes sense. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to our health.
Right.
It's better to catch it early.
Definitely. And it's really empowering to have all this knowledge to be proactive about your oral health.
Hi, Yuri.
You're not just relying on your dentist, you're working together as a team.
I love that. It's like
Well-
we're becoming implant detectives armed with all this info to keep our smiles in tip-top shape.
Exactly. And the guide emphasizes that even though caring for dental implants might seem like a lot at first,
Yeah,
it really comes down to just a few simple habits practiced consistently.
small efforts, big rewards.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Just like brushing our teeth for a couple of minutes each day can help us avoid major dental problems down the road.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's the same principle with implants.
Right.
Those small daily acts of care can have a huge impact on the longevity and health of your implants,
Mm-hmm.
which can save you time, money, and discomfort later on.
Okay, so to sum it all up, we've learned that taking care of dental implants is all about consistency, being proactive, and having a good relationship with our dentist.
Absolutely.
We need to make smart choices about our diet,
Yes.
lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
and daily hygiene routine.
Right.
And most importantly, we need to be aware of any changes in our mouths and address them promptly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The Orastock guide really lays it all out in a clear and concise way.
Hmm.
It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to take charge of their implant health and ensure a lifetime of confident smiles.
Absolutely. And remember, if you're ever in doubt or have any questions,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to reach out to your dentist.
Please.
They're your partner in this journey,
Absolutely.
and they're always there to guide you and help you make the best decisions for your oral health.
They are the experts.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of dental implant care.
That was a good one.
I hope you found it as insightful and empowering as I did.
I did.
Remember, knowledge is power, and now you have the power to keep your new smile shining bright for years to come.
You do.
Until next time, keep smiling,
Yes.
keep learning,
Keep learning.
and keep taking those deep dives with us. We'll see you on the next episode of The Deep Dive.